All right, thank you guys for joining us for episode 63, I believe, of Black Coffee and Crime. My name is Brandy, and we also have Jackie here with us today. The other Brandy will not be joining us this evening or this morning, depending on when you're watching it, or just she's not
It'll
joining us today.
be like me when I
Um,
get the alerts. I watch it at 5 in the morning.
right, because as soon as I try to get it posted as quickly as possible, but sometimes YouTube and the universe is against me, and also my sleep pattern. So yeah, I try, y'all. All right. So, busy week in the media. Some things big, something small. One big thing we're not going to talk about because we just ain't, you can figure out what that big thing is, but we ain't going to talk about it because we ain't going to give it, we're not going to give it any more wings. Um, we're just not. However, do we need to do church announcements? Well, the church announcements are as follows. This is a weekly show. Sometimes we will not be present just because we have things to do, and sometimes we do get tired. This is our opinion about true crime, current events, and other bullshit we find on Al Gore's internet. Our opinion based on the facts that we find. Okay, we are not law enforcement professionals. Um, we talk about things that we find on the internet, things that we find interesting, and if you have any questions or concerns, if we misspeak, we say the wrong facts or whatever, hit us up on Instagram or Facebook at Black Coffee Crime, or you can email us at info@blackcoffeecrime.com. Excuse me. As always, please be respectful in all of your comments, even the comments on YouTube. We will delete you or block you if you're disrespectful at all, or if you send us any
Right.
ads. We don't like ads because we don't. I don't even know what you're selling, and if I wanted to buy it, I'd come to you. So we
So
don't. Right. Um, so
it's
there's
weird.
that. We thank all new YouTube subscribers, all new followers on Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason why you're here,
Yeah.
we appreciate that you are.
Yeah.
So those are the announcements as follows. Please govern yourselves accordingly. Obey your ushers and respect your pastor. All right. Last week we scared the mess out of you with our story about our coworker who got fired and we had to be escorted to the parking lot. So we had some comments about that. All I'm saying is, if your gut tells you not to attend that staff meeting, don't go to the staff meeting. Okay, so don't. Also, oh, forgot in the comments. I mean, in the church announcements, we are gonna go ahead and extend some congratulations to Jackie and her family on their new arrival. They
Ugh.
have um, welcomed a new spirit and soul into their household, and
Yay.
his name is Cash. He is of the four-legged variety. So if you hear Jackie or see Jackie turn around and give someone a stern talking to, it's the dog.
It's our baby Cash.
Yes.
Well, he's not a baby.
And as
He's
y'all, if I don't know if y'all know, there are pet parents and then there are black pet parents. And black pet parents, we talk to our dogs like we talk to our kids.
hmm.
So if you hear cussing, it's just Jackie talking to Cash.
I mean, you'll just see this right here. You'll see.
Yeah. The video will
But
cut
if you,
out real quick
even
and
if you
then
see
come
me
back.
looking off a few times, it's because I'm making sure he's not doing the most.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, I used to have that problem with my fur baby all in the background barking and stuff. So I get it. Um, all right. So one of the things that we are going to talk about, the thing that we are going to talk about this week, um, requires a trigger warning. Sometimes we give trigger warnings because we want you to be safe in your spirit. We don't want um, you to harm yourself, bring up anything that is bad or tragic to you. So, as always, this episode is going to be talking about domestic violence, more specifically celebrity domestic violence, given the story about Zach Stacy this past week. Um, in and out, I think, in my opinion, personally, I think that more people are affected by domestic and intimate partner violence than we want to talk about.
Right.
Either experiencing it as a child with parents or in your own relationships. I think a lot of us deal with it. and we don't want to talk about it. So if this is at all triggering to you, brings up any bad memories, please, please, please hit the red X in
Excellent.
the corner and get out of here because we're gonna talk about it. And I don't want you coming for me talking about you didn't tell us what we telling you right now. And we'll tell you
Yeah,
again.
just exit.
Yeah, and we'll give another warning somewhere in the middle so that you're always aware of what we're talking about. So all right, let's get in it. So about what was it, about 5 days ago? Um, this video of former NFL uh player Zach Stacy. You talk to the dog. You look for the dog.
Yeah, I'm just sure you see the edit. You'll see me do like this.
I see you.
I'm like,
I
she gonna
see
be
you.
like, what is wrong with you?
Former NFL player Zach Stacy, we saw a video come out about 5 days ago. Today is November 22nd, so about 5 days ago, the 17th or something
Mhm.
like that. Um, I heard about this video, and I usually don't watch uh, violent videos from the media, fights,
Yeah.
killings, any of that, arrests. I just don't watch them because they're kind of traumatic to me. Um, but I really was curious because I wanted to see what everyone was talking about. And they said that he beat up his girlfriend. So I'm like, yeah, is it like a scuffle? Like what happened? And if I tell you that I was surprised, appalled,
Disgusted.
disgusted. Okay, so a lot of people were saying that he threw her around like a rag doll. And I was like, okay, that might be a little high, a little hyperbole. Somebody throwing. He literally threw that girl around like a rag doll.
It was so I saw it on TikTok.
Mhm.
And then I noticed the shade room, and then I noticed that sorry. I noticed the shade room, and then I noticed that it was being posted on TMZ. So I went ahead and like, okay, let me go ahead and just look at it. I should not have done that.
No,
That was brutal.
no. Um, you can hear her. The part of the video that I saw is you can hear her saying something to the effect like, we're not together. This is not how this is going to be anymore. And I don't know what he said to her, but I do
I
know
heard her
his
say
next
something
move.
like, I didn't tell her anything or something, and or I'm not doing anything. You like I said, it's pretty much her saying like, I didn't do nothing. Like, just why are you mad? That's why I took
Right.
it.
And he said something, he was real aggressive in his tone. He said something like, that's not how it's going to be, or something like that. And
Who pistol?
okay, in our vernacular, in the AAVE, we're going to say he stole on her. Like,
And
oh
two,
my
I'm talking about so
God.
fast and so he hit her so hard that he almost spun around.
It was brutal from the onset. It was brutal. And he proceeded to like grab her by her neck or her hair, sling her across the room. He body slammed her. Uh, it seemed like at some point he was gonna stop, and she's like telling him, she's on the ground, and she's telling him, okay, stop, stop. And he's like coming towards her while she's on the ground, and he raises his fist and he
Like
kind of puts
this.
it down. And then he like goes in on her again. Let me tell you how resilient that woman is. Because baby, I don't know if that big ass man would have hit me and I'd have been able to bounce back like she
I
did.
thought she would have. I thought the first hit he hit her and then he threw her. I actually thought she had passed out until she started talking because
He
she's
broke,
fragile, very very
yeah,
petite
she's a
woman,
very thin woman. He
baby
broke
there.
one of the
Well,
baby chairs or toys or something when he threw her towards the wall, and then broke another baby apparatus or something. But the whole time the baby was in the room.
yep, on the couch looking.
Yep. Oh. to Zach Stacy. So the baby is on the couch. You can kind of hear I thought I heard the baby crying in the background. Um, and then he abruptly leaves and he's like, I love you, whatever the baby's name is. Where's Flex, dude? Let me tell you how triggered I am when people fight. Um, and I at 40 plus shipping and handling, I still have not conquered being able to not be triggered by a woman and a man fight. If a man raises his voice to a woman in my presence, I immediately get defensive.
Mhm.
I'm already ready to, I gotta get out of here. I'm already like preparing myself to hear a slap, somebody throw something. Like I'm ready for that. Like, because I'm conditioned to know that once a man and a woman start to argue and a man raises his voice at a woman, he's gonna hit her. He's gonna throw something at her. She's gonna scream or something. So watching that video, I'm like,
Ooh, baby, I'm talking about all kinds of trigger alerts. I was so disturbed. Woo! It's so
oh,
disturbed that I couldn't even watch it no more. So like when you sent the video, I was like, maybe something on there. But the video got the plot. I was like, oh no, no, I
and
cannot watch that again. I
the only
cannot.
reason I sent the video is because I know that you and Brandy typically, like myself, don't watch the videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we will talk about a subject, but we never see the video because it's triggering or it's traumatic or it's just too much. But I had to watch the video because I had to know what people were talking about.
Yeah.
So once I saw the video, I was like, okay, that's what we're about to talk about. We're going to talk about celebrity domestic violence. Um, Celebrities are just like other people. They're flawed. They got
Sarah.
issues and they have problems. The difference is we get to see it and we get to judge them. Um, quite frankly, I think he needs to be judged. You know, he gets no
Yes.
sympathy for me.
None.
Um, one of
No,
the
I'm not
questions that I asked, I was talking to Brandy about this, and I asked this question not because I was victim blaming or anything like that. I asked, what happened before? And I was like, what triggered him to go to her house? What triggered what was what happened in that interaction for him to just snap like right now? Like what was it that he heard
he thought.
that triggered him? And again, not to say that any of it's justified, but I'm just very interested to know what was it.
I mean, yeah.
And we won't be able to tell unless he says what it is that triggered him. Another thing that I said was that that's not the first time he did that to her.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. You see how she was able to talk to the conversation. There's no a woman that's been touched like for the first time. They are an emotional wreck at that moment. They are crying. They are screaming. They, especially with a child there, you're screaming because you need to get rid of him because your baby's there. So when she didn't react, I was like, oh no, this ain't the first time.
Right. Because your natural inclination. Now, I personally have never been a victim of intimate partner violence. I've seen it and I've experienced it vicariously through others, but me personally I have not. But what I do know is that if someone hits you that has never hit you before, or even if someone
Shock.
shouts at you that you've never heard a certain tone in their voice, you are like, you're kind of taken aback, like, wait,
Mhm.
what is this? He didn't have that reaction. So I knew immediately that this was wrong.
She immediately got like trying to plead her case in regard so that he doesn't stay mad
To calm him down.
to calm him
Her
down. She
purpose
didn't
was to
panic.
calm, to give no reaction, because maybe he's the type of person that he reacts more to her crying or,
Mhm.
um,
And there's sick
you
people
know,
like that.
right. So the more you cry, the more they want to hurt you. So she was calming him down. So she had already developed a coping mechanism or a defensive mechanism to get him calm so that she could at least get him out, which he did leave. Um, I was reading the New York an article from the New York Post. I think this was dated on the 20th of November. She alleged, and I'm just going to say alleged, because I don't doubt that this actually happened, but we're going to use the language that this abuse began shortly after she became pregnant a year ago or last year. Um, so I don't know if it was he didn't want her to be pregnant, um, if he had something else going on and that kind of derailed his plans. I don't know. But that's when the abuse began. There are pictures in the New York Post of her having bruises on her arms. Um, and the police have been called out 2 other times prior to this incident that was filmed and pushed out to the media. He also said that there were other incidences where she didn't report them because, listen to this is classic. Why? Because she wanted her child to have his father. That was her purpose for not reporting it. She wanted her child to have his father around. Ladies, let me tell you
Classic,
something.
classic,
Let me tell you something.
classic
Your
victim
child is
syndrome.
better off.
And I can say that because I was a victim. It is a classic victim syndrome. Your natural instinct is, I need to have their father around for them. So you just got to suck it up and deal with it because you need them around for your children. That is women. It's getting to the point where you can't even turn down rejection. You can't reject a man without getting your ass whooped
Uh-huh.
or get killed
Uh-huh.
or killed for telling someone no.
Yeah.
Because you're just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. As a woman who was in a domestic violence situation, in your mind, you think you are doing the right thing by staying with your mate for your children. In your mind. Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
And let me
But it's
tell
what you think.
you, as a person who experienced the other end of it, you're not better off. The children are not better
They're not.
off. They're not.
They're not.
They're not. Um, your kids are better off with a healthy parent, mentally and physically. There's nothing worse than a child seeing their parent with a black eye, a busted lip, and having to hear the lie and the excuse when you know that you know it's a lie and you expect the lie, but every now and again you're like, just tell the truth because I saw it happen, I heard it happen, just say what it is. But the lie is not to protect yourself, the lie is to protect him. Because
Mhm.
it's always, you never want your children to have a bad image of their father. What you don't realize, and as someone who experiences yourself, Jackie, I'm quite sure you can agree with this. You will protect that your kid's image of his father when your kid saw the shit happen.
Stupid,
So
ain't
what
it?
are you protecting?
It's crazy. You're not protecting anything.
Because
They
we
saw
saw
it.
it
They
happen.
already saw it. They already saw it.
We experienced it in the car on the way home,
Hmm.
oh, at the dinner table, in the hallway, in the back. We saw all of it. We heard all of
And
it. So you're trying to protect a man's image when
excuse
that
me.
man tainted his own image to his children.
Hmm.
You didn't have anything to do with it. And what ends up happening, and this is a very, very sad truth, and you as a woman or as the victim and your kids are lucky if this doesn't happen. But typically what happens is the victims, most of the time the woman, lies to protect the man's image. But in the end, the children will resent the mother for having protected him in the first place.
Hmm.
Because you kept him
I'm
around,
a witness.
because you
My
kept him
children are.
around to keep doing that to you. So we see the mother as a weak person or as a weak entity because you couldn't even protect yourself. Therefore, you couldn't protect us either. And it's not until you get to adulthood If this is your experience, if it's not, bless you. But if
Bless
this
you.
is your
I mean,
experience,
but I mean, it's pretty close to it. And even if they don't see you as a weak woman, my kids didn't see me as a weak woman. What they saw me as they didn't understand how I wasn't strong enough to leave, which in technicality is weak. But to them, they just didn't understand why did you stay?
mhm,
Like they don't understand it. Like they're like, Mom, what is it? Why?
you
And
don't
in
even
my mind,
understand.
in the whole time in my mind, I was thinking, why stay for y'all? And they were
And
like,
your kids are
no.
like, no, no,
They're like,
no.
no, you didn't stay for us. We didn't want him there. We
Listen,
didn't
let me
want
tell
that.
you, the
It's
reality is
weird.
you stayed for you.
We're gonna help somebody out today. Somebody gonna get helped out tonight
You
because you
stayed,
need to know.
yes, you stayed for you.
Yes.
Wasn't about the kids. You stayed for you because you wanted to prove. And again, if this is not your experience, I might not
Oh,
be
please
talking.
say it. Please say it.
You wanted to prove that you were not wrong in choosing the person that you chose. Because
Thinking you could change them.
somebody in your life told you he ain't right for you. Leave him alone. Somebody told you, and you chose for whatever reason, because the D was good, your heart felt great, whatever, you got butterflies, I don't know. But somebody told you that's not him, leave him alone. You chose differently, and you stayed to prove that you were not wrong, that I can fix it,
Mm-mm. Mm.
that my love is good enough to fix it. But this, let me tell you, and you probably know this already, Jackie, that man was fucked up when you met him. Him,
Had nothing to do with you, sis.
not a damn thing.
No, I don't care what you did. It had
He
nothing to
was
do with
messed
you.
up when you met him. It is ladies and fellas who experience domestic violence. It is not your job to fix them. You didn't break it, you ain't gotta fix it.
Brandy told me this years ago. It changed my whole thought process. I know it sounds crazy. We always, especially women who have dealt with anybody, because physical abuse is not the only abuse you can go through.
Mm-mm.
There's definitely mental and emotional abuse that is just as horrible as physical abuse. Um, and in your mind, you literally think that, like, I can change this. Like, I can fix this. And I remember crying to Brandy at one of my cuticle. Of course, she didn't know I was a domestic. I mean, at that time, I hadn't been. This was way long time ago. But
Mhm.
I remember crying and I was like, I just don't know what else to do. I've done everything. And she was like, well, it's not your job to fix him. Why are you trying to fix him?
Mm.
I was like, because I want him to, I've already put in the work. She was like, you didn't put in any work because if you did, he would already been fixed. It's not your job. He already has these problems. It's not your job. Let it go. Stop.
Mm-mm.
Stop
Mm-mm.
trying. Let it if he has to fix himself, you can't do it. So, and I took that with me and it changed my whole perspective on life, which he knows or not. Made me look at things 1,000 times different. Because then all of a sudden you start thinking, you know what? Hey, why is he mad at me about that? I ain't do shit. Hey, he just getting mad at me about this. You start breaking things down and it starts getting better. But as a woman, you are definitely thinking those things. Brandy's in there saying, I mean, I could be wrong, but she not wrong.
Because
He's
we are
right.
conditioned as women, we in Western society, as Western women, we are conditioned into thinking that we're such nurturers, natural born nurturers, that we have to, we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to the man, our partner, to be able to be, and it's a common phrase right now, be his peace. Be his
Huh.
brother,
Hmm.
bring your peace with you.
Oh, ride or die.
Be his ride or die.
That
No,
damn term,
I'm getting off at the next light, bruh.
ride or die term took black women through. Woo!
I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't nobody's ride or die. I ain't. I'm not. I am loyal to a fault, but I'm not a ride or die.
It
I'm
ain't.
not about to allow you to put me through hell just to get this much heaven. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
We're not doing that.
You don't owe that man peace. He
Nothing.
owes himself peace. If he not bringing peace with him, just like he bring Popeyes 2-piece on Tuesday and a
Mm.
biscuit,
Huh.
tell him to bring his piece with him and a Pepsi.
Period.
Okay, I need a
Okay.
2-piece, a Pepsi, and the piece of your spirit. I need that to come with you. You don't owe that. You don't owe that because then you get into a cycle of I have to fix him. You weren't there to figure out what broke him. His parents broke him. And guess what?
That's who broke them. Not it.
His parents broke him. Because if you look at his parents' relationship, if a man is abusive
Huh,
and
girl,
you look at his parents'
girl,
relationship, there's
you,
abuse in
you
that
lacing them up
relationship.
you lacing them up this way.
And ladies, let's hold ourselves accountable too.
Yes.
If you are on the other side of an abusive relationship,
Huh.
look at your parents' relationship.
Because let me tell you, I've seen men get abused too. And they're told that how, you letting her be, you being a wimp because she decides to do this. No, no woman should put their hands on you. Why is she so
Oh,
mad that she got to put her hands on you?
yep,
That's a problem.
yep.
She should not be putting her hands on you, y'all. And nowadays, and why is toxic relationships a thing? What?
It's fun. It's fun until you become what her name is, Kristen Evans. It's fun until you
Or
become a
or
Kristen
or
Evans
Janae Rice? Because we ain't even talked about her yet.
or Nicole Brown Simpson. It's fun until then.
Hmm.
It's fun
Cute,
until
cute,
then.
cute and fun, huh? For everybody, Yeah, we got a toxic relationship. Who? What?
Mm-mm.
No, man.
No,
We don't do
no,
toxic.
no, no, you
Nah.
cannot. But also too, like if a woman is a victim of in a relationship that she holds, not hey, I got into it with my dude and we fought and we broke up. But if you stay in that relationship, excuse me, look at your parents' relationship. Look at your mother and your father's relationship. And again, if this is not your situation, I'm not talking to you.
Right. So
But
don't
if
get her
you
saying
are
not
in an abusive
everyone, because we ain't talking
relationship and you're staying in that abusive relationship, is your mother in the same one? Because we are also conditioned by our parents as victims to stay in it. And your
and even if she
mom
not in one, has she ever been
been
in
in
one?
one. Because your mom might tell you that's just the way men are. Keep your marriage vows. Through thick or through thin, be that ride or die. That's what her grandmother told her.
And her grandma told her. So
I
we ain't
had to
talking.
endure it so you can do it. Uh-uh.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah. Or you hear people, well, that back, the great grandmothers, and do you know what what our great grandmothers went through? Huh? How about being a woman that was stuck at home with no education, taking care of about 10 kids, while he out schooling everybody in town, everybody. But where's she gonna go? Because her mama already kicked her out because her time came when she turned 14, and that's what her mama taught her,
And you
and her
can't
mama
go
taught her, and
home.
mom. So you have to go. So where do you
Those
go? What do you do?
those women could not go to back to their parents' house because their mom and daddy would take them right back to their abusive husbands. So our grandparents, and you hear this a lot, and we probably way off
Yes.
subject, but
Way out there.
our grandparents, you hear this a lot right now is I want what my grandparents had. I want the type of no, you don't, sir. No, you don't. Your grandmother, because our grandmothers, they stayed married. They stayed married because they had to. They had no
They have
money.
a
They had no
choice.
education.
Thank
They,
you.
like you said, they had 10 kids. They couldn't leave. They didn't stay because the marriage was great. They couldn't leave. Facebook and social media don't have nothing to do with women leaving their or with divorce rate. The divorce rate is what it is because I don't
People are
have
fed
to
up.
be here.
People are fed
I
up.
don't have to be here. You want to have outside kids? Go outside with them kids. You you want to drink and come home and beat on somebody? Go beat on your dog. Don't come over here.
That's
You
what
don't
happened.
have to be in an abusive relationship. It doesn't have to be. So on that note, let me get serious for a second. Not having to be in an abusive relationship. If you are, so we're just gonna throw these numbers out here. If you are, you can always hit up the National Domestic, excuse me, I cannot talk. National Domestic Violence Hotline at thehotline.org. So
Mhm.
THEHOTLINE.org. Um, if
Is it
your
gonna be in the
internet
description
is,
box? I'm sure it'll be in there.
yeah, well, I will put that in the description. Also, if your internet is being monitored by your
Mhm.
abuser,
Because they
call,
do it.
yes, call 800-799-7233. So if you are in a situation where you cannot use the internet, 800-799-7233, and of course, calling 911. There are also ways that you can call 911 and
Yes.
act like you're
I
ordering
was
a
literally
pizza,
about to say that.
and certain things you say, and they'll kind of pick up on the lingo, what you're doing. Um, let's see, there's also another number for the National Center for Victims of Crime, which is 855-484-2846. So I'll put those in the description. Now, there are some interesting numbers that I got from I don't even know what, I'm just gonna say NEADV.org, National, no, NCADV, National Center for the Advocacy of Domestic Violence, something like that. Um, so it says 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience physical violence from an intimate partner. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience extreme domestic violence, sexual violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner. 1 in 4, no, 1 in 9, and 1 in 25. 1 in 7 women. I'm all over the place. 1 in 7 women and 1 in 25 men um, have been injured by a domestic partner. And then 1 in 10 women have been raped by an intimate partner. They don't have the numbers for the men. So this is someone, this is violence, not just a random man, but inside your relationship. Those are the numbers. I'll also put the name of the link for that in the notes as well. So back to like Zach Stacy. So let's go back a little bit. Excuse me. Like we were saying, that's not the first time he did that to her. And I'd be interested to know how far, like she says that, this happened, he started ramping up when she got pregnant. I'd like to know, what were those red flags? Did she see them when they were dating? Or did
We
she
see the
deny
red.
it?
You see the red flags. You just hope. You hope they don't reach the next level. But we always recognize a red flag. That goes in it. You're gonna know when you get the red flag. You know somebody is excessively, overly yelling at you for no reason. People who isolate you. The typical red flags. Isolation. You can't talk to nobody. You gotta be a friend. Gotta know where you're going every second, every split. How long you gonna be there? Where you go? How long? Those are some of the red flags. So I'm sure she got a red flag somewhere. It's just
But
that you
just
just hope
decided that
you
she
just
was just
hope
going
it
to,
don't you don't want to think the worst. So in your mind, you're like, okay, to prevent me even coming up with that horrible, horrible possibility, let me just hope that's not the situation. So that's what you end up doing.
listen,
That's what I did. I just hoped because it started with isolation. It started with moving me into no friends. I don't talk to nobody but myself, my sisters. I put you in this little bitty box. I need to know what you're doing, where you're going, how long you're gonna be there, all that stuff, the typical red flags. And in your mind, you're going, well, I mean, maybe just love me a lot. It's a little weird. You don't want me to see my family.
I don't want you to love me like that.
That's what I was thinking. And at the time, a whole lot of other factors played into it. It
Mm.
wasn't just that. It was, at that point, I felt like nobody was gonna love me like that because he's already told me these things. And you start believing those things so it's a factor of things that get you there, but you get there, you're like, well, man, it's gonna happen. And then when it happens, you want to prove that what those people told you
It's not true.
6 months ago can't be true because I can make my own decisions.
Right. And then you further isolate yourself because you don't want them to see the signs of the abuse. So you further isolate yourself. So you don't talk to them or want to see them until whatever bruise you might have has been cleared up, or maybe it has been erased from the kid's mind, so they don't really tell it. Because we have a problem in our community, and maybe in some others, that what happens in the house stays in the house,
Stays in the house.
and that's how abuse continues.
Mhm.
Because don't nobody want to talk about it. Like I said, I've been fortunate not to have personally experienced that. There have been, I can say that there's been other pieces of abuse, like the gaslighting in a
The
relationship,
gaslighting is the worst.
which is, the gaslighting is abuse after a while, and then because sometimes you don't recognize it for what it is, and then when you do, you be like, well, you know, so those things have happened, and the possessiveness, the excessive uh possessiveness, like I'm just right here. I
Yes.
can't
It's
I can't talk to the people around me if it's or the waiter, or you flirting with the waiter. Yeah, because I'm trying to get some free shrimp. I don't understand what your problem is. Yeah, I smiled a little bit more because I'm trying to get an extra basket of bread to come back. Like I don't. That's just what you do. And then after, so I have
I'm the
experienced
only
that to
person.
where,
Baby, I'll put on that shine in a minute, give me some extra.
huh, and that's just a thing that's just me. That's a part of my personality. Um, and but I'm not disrespectful with it, but that's just, I'm just gonna, I flirt with people. I like to talk to people. So it became, in one situation it was a problem, and I was like, that's weird. Why? I'm here with you. Like, you do know that that's not what's about. To any case, it didn't last long because you're not about to dim my light, bro. Like, it didn't last long. But you those are the red flags. And um, if you're not hyper aware because of what you think might happen, which is also detrimental to you personally, because you think everyone is going to do something to you. Um, you're very wary after that. You think everyone is going to harm you, and so everyone's a red flag. But you got to recognize the real ones,
Mm-hmm.
um, and see what they are.
Yes,
Now,
Lord. Well,
I
see,
dug in the crates a little bit for a different story, talking about
okay,
celebrities.
and then I'm gonna tell my celebrity one because you're gonna
Oh,
tell
go
me.
ahead, because we already talked. Go ahead. Who you who you
Okay,
got?
so we were talking about that, and I started thinking about Ray Rice. So if you don't remember Ray Rice is the guy, I believe he was with Baltimore Ravens. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm quite sure I'm sure.
Hmm.
And he was the one that was in the elevator with his girlfriend and literally punched her and knocked her out and drug her out the elevator and act like he know what the hell was going on. Was literally about to walk off until he was caught by one of the like bellhops. One of the bellhops noticed and was like, "Oh my God, like what's going on?" But he was in the process of walking away. Away. It's not funny. I was like, "What?" Like it was like a big deal. Of course, he got dropped, and come to find out, they got married 10 days later. So of course, the world goes crazy. Why did she marry him? Why was it the first time? So I was watching an interview with Gail, who is, she is a straight savage. She's going to ask the questions we want to know. And he mentions, because she says, well, where in the change happened to where you felt like physical violence was a way to handle a situation with someone that you say you love? And he goes, there was already violence ahead of time. There was already mental and emotional abuse I was putting on her, right? She goes back and asks Janae, and she goes, "Oh, I don't remember that. I thought we were just, doing typical boyfriend girlfriend things." She was like, "He just literally said he was mentally and emotionally abusing you."
She was still, when the man
He was
blatantly said
still.
it, she was still trying to protect him.
She tried to protect him when everybody found out. She said that was the one and only time that's happened. Well, I don't believe that.
No,
If
ma'am.
he just mentioned that he was mentally and emotionally abusive to you all quite often, and he mentioned the fact that his mother was abused a lot as he was a child, and his daddy did a lot of abusing to his mother and other girlfriends, That leads me to believe
That's
that he
normal
has
behavior
done
for
that.
him.
That was his normal behavior.
He doesn't
He
see
just didn't expect to do it in public. Why do
right.
you think he was getting ready to walk off? He drove. I mean,
And she was
child.
gonna get up and follow him.
Yeah, she
When she
was.
recovered, she was gonna get up and follow him.
Go back to that room. They were at the hotel.
One of you can find this on YouTube, and it's funny in a very sad, disgusting way. But Ike Turner said he was in an interview. I forget who was interviewing him, but he
Was it
said
Diane Site? Was it no?
Barbara Walters or something.
Yeah, someone of them.
He was asked, had he ever hit Tina? And he said, yeah. And it's, he brought up an incident where Tina was sad for some days. And, he couldn't figure it out. So he kept asking her what was wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. She'd say nothing, nothing, nothing. So he slapped her. And that
You
seemed
remember
to
what he
shake
said?
her. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, I slapped her. And that kind of brought her out because why she's sad.
Yeah. And then he turned around and said, yeah, I used to hit the bitch from time to time.
Because it's normal behavior. Because again, I just said, if a man is an abuser, look at his history.
I was like, oh.
And if a woman is a victim, look at her history. Look at her history. Because they go hand in hand. Because an abuser has to have a victim. And the victim has to believe that that's the way that's supposed to go. Or have the belief that in order to have the things that I have to endure the things that I endure. Another thing, a famous couple in the hip hop community was Fabulous and Emily.
Ooh, did you see that video?
Yeah.
Give him a recap.
And then she had another baby.
Did. But give him the recap. You remember the recap?
That's when he got into the whole thing with her whole family, and it was nice.
Yes.
All that stuff. Apparently, this had been happening for years. Mind you, they're not even married. They've been together for like 20 years. They're still
not even married. Well, are they married now? I don't even think so.
No.
Okay.
No. And basically, she went back because of what he provides.
And you can look on the worldwide internet and see World Wide Web, Beyonce's internet, and see this video where he's chasing her out this car, literally trying. You could tell he had so much rage. She was so scared. She's screaming. The daddy trying to stop it. People are trying to. I'm not sure if that's her dad, but I know he got into
her dad and her brother. Mm-hmm.
They're trying to stop him, like, what you doing? You know what I mean? He gets mad, trying to kill them, but because they're trying to protect their sister.
And she goes back.
And she went back. And had another baby.
Had another baby.
Had never mentioned, people didn't even know they were married until Love and Hip Hop came out. Nobody even knew that. I mean, married, I'm sorry. In a relationship. They have been in a relationship for 14 years. And no one knew who this woman was. Everybody was shocked, like, what? Fabulous? You got somebody?
When it comes to women who go back, I'm a judge. I'm judging. And the reason I'm judging is because do you value your life? Because there could be one time.
All it takes is one time.
When no one's there to hear you and he can't pull back. The light doesn't come on and you're Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yeah, because come on, community, let's talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? The most famous domestic violence case. That wasn't a one-off. Any celebrity that used to hang with them will tell you that was normal. Caitlyn Jenner just came out a couple weeks ago and said that shit was normal and that he said that he was going to kill her.
Everyone was saying it. I mean, whether we like Chris or not, Chris has been, whether she slept with him or not, because we got shady friends. But the reality is, she said he has always been that way. Always hit on her. Always possessive. I mean, you could tell. Have y'all not watched some of their interviews?
And I think with the OJ situation, it was the fact that she had the nerve to move on, that she was no longer his possession. And a lot of abusers get angry when they have abused you, you get divorced or you break up and you have the nerve enough to move on and not
How dare
be at
you?
their beck and call. So it's like you're between, it's a catch 22. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you stay alone, then they have dominion over you. If you move on, then you're still betraying them. So it just goes on and on and on and on and on. It never stops. You looking at Cash?
Yeah, I was making sure his breathing didn't slow down. He was snoring real loud, and all of a sudden he wasn't snoring. So I'm over there like, is this stomach moving?
Classic newborn behavior. You checking your baby, see if your baby's still breathing. Um, I
Yeah,
ducking the crazy
the
for
OJ
this one.
Simpson. Oh, that poor
The
baby.
most famous.
Oh, I
The
feel
most
so
famous.
sad for her. Oh
Like this woman
Lord,
couldn't
she didn't
be.
have a chance. It's like nobody, no one protected her. I felt like nobody protected her. Everybody watching him beat the her in all these different parties, and no one protected her.
And her family. Let's talk about families and how families um will deal with the abuser, because the abuser is a provider. And her when once she was killed, her family, of course, um, all against OJ, which as they should be. However, y'all benefited from his wealth, and much like in the case of Tina Turner, it was kind of like just kind of deal with it because we got this, we got this.
Mhm.
So maybe they didn't say it explicitly, but kind of, hey, but he's a nice guy. He's a provider, but he's red. No, and a lot of wealthy women deal with it um because of
So sad.
because of the things that this person can give you. It ain't worth it, sis. The diamonds, the cars. Listen, be broke but be whole. I mean,
Be Rihanna. Rihanna said you had one time. Now I know the controversy is what did she say? Well, it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter what she said.
Rihanna said you had one time. That
One
was all she
time.
needed. That was it. I don't
One.
care what happened. I
And
know
then
everybody's
once
like,
you
well, she probably, I don't care what she did.
doesn't
Men, I
matter.
don't care what it is. Men overpower women by strength, and you can't make me believe different. And um, he definitely has more strength than she does, even if based on size alone. So if you know you're stronger, you have no reason to put your hands. You're famous. You can literally do whatever. Like, why did
Now,
you do? He,
I will say this. If I hit you,
when you gonna hit me?
you have the right to hit me back. And
Right
that's
now,
just
beat the shit out of you.
not beat the hell out of me, but you got the right to hit me back. Or I need to
He
give
hits
you
back
50
with
feet.
pop, but no, she got beat the hell out of him.
Right. She got yes. So there's a
She went
difference
in,
between a quick like, hey, get up off me and
which his dad did.
ah.
Just wanted to point that out. His dad was abusive.
And sometimes you can try to stay away from a situation. Um, but if it's trauma that you haven't faced or haven't had therapy about or haven't had an epiphany about, you'll repeat it. You'll repeat the behavior because you've seen it so much and you're conditioned to it. Um, I had like a whole epiphany in my early 30s. Like, oh, I didn't cause any of this to anybody. I don't have to be this. I will never accept this. Um, I was with somebody who would the same person with the that was possessive, and it was kind of scary. Like, uh, I don't know if this person gonna swing on me or not. And
Mm-hmm.
because I was unsure, I'm gonna have to exit stage left. Thanks for playing. I gotta go. Because and it wasn't that he had actually done anything, but I was uncertain on whether he would. I was not about to take that chance.
I don't even like people yelling at me.
I'm not, mm-mm. I'm
Don't
not
yell at
about to,
me.
and I
Man,
try,
a man that's aggressive, and now once I hear that, oh,
mm-mm.
I've already
Yeah,
shut down. I'm gonna go. I might cry. I'm gonna be
I'm
terrified.
about to go.
I'm gonna be shake. Like, don't do that. Don't
I'm about to
do
go.
that.
I used to, and I tell this as a joke, but this is honest God truth. Like maybe 20, 21 years ago, in this guy.
Yes, it's
And so 20 some years ago, I was in my 20s.
mhm.
And seeing this guy, nothing serious or whatever. He was never allowed to come to my house when my daughter was home, ever. So I just, I don't trust folks. And
No.
all right, I don't trust folks. And every time he came over, I promise you, I would turn my stove on, put a skillet on the stove, real low, turn it on real low. And I would put grease in that skillet. So just in case, I would have a weapon that I would pour that hot grease on that man. I kid you not, every time that man came to my house,
Mm.
and especially the light came on, like, fool, if you gotta do all this, why is he coming to you?
I be having escape plans. I have escape
If
plans.
you
I have
have
a
to
plan
have,
for everything. It's a plan.
if you
Just in
have to
case.
have a weapon, that's probably not the situation you should be in, especially as a
And,
woman.
I mean, even if well, now I have weapons. I will
Because
keep
you're
myself,
dating, because I mean,
you
if
know,
you're out and you're
I'm
single,
terrified. So I'm just sitting there holding it and I'll be like, be too close, I don't know what I'm
right, but if you're a
doing.
single woman, yes, protect yourself at all times. But I'm saying if you're having someone come over into your space and you feel like you have to protect yourself from a person that you know in your space, get them out of your space. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to make sure you got a knife under your chair and your gun is in the drawer and you got
Some,
hot grease on the stove,
a
don't
bag,
have that man come
some.
over.
That's smart with the pan and the hot grease. That is super
Yeah, I
smart.
did.
On
Yeah,
low, because you're not
yeah.
gonna burn.
So it wouldn't burn, but it was
Yeah,
going to get hot.
gonna hurt.
But I was like, why do you do this? This is dumb. This is dumb that you do this. So, okay, so
Mhm.
needless to say, that relationship or situationship or whatever that was didn't last too long. But that goes to show you that we do things like that and we don't think that that's a red flag that you even have to do that. So if you're uncertain on whether or not that man is going to hurt you, just think in your head he's going to hurt you and get the hell away.
Get the hell away.
Get the hell away. Um, this celebrity domestic violence story or incident, I dug in the crates. I heard about this when I was a little girl. My mom used to talk about it um, from some pretty famous people. So Tammy Terrell was a singer for Motown, and she sang with Marvin Gaye on "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" and songs like that. Now she started in the business when she was like 12, and she died when she was 24. So she died really young, and she died from a brain tumor. But from 12 to 24, she had a lot of trauma. When she was 11, she was reportedly raped by three boys when she was 11. So right after that, she started having these really strong migraine headaches, which could be attributed to the trauma. When she was 17, so she starts singing with Jerry Butler. Um, and well, way before she was 17. But by the time she's 17, she meets a famous soul singer, James Brown. He was 28. Reportedly, he assaulted her for not watching his whole performance. And this happened in 1962.
What?
He beat her mercilessly, bloodied everything for not watching his entire performance. And that beating was witnessed. Um, Another famous boyfriend, she started dating David Ruffin
Mm-hmm.
of the Temptations.
That's what everybody
Um,
pretty familiar with, the David Ruffin.
yeah, everybody knows who David Ruffin is.
About to
He
come see
he
him.
he they dated, and he proposed to her on stage, but he was
Mm.
already married and had 3 kids. So they break up. Well, her trying to break up with him, he beat her too. Reportedly, he hit her in the head with a hammer, but most definitely, he hit her in the head with his motorcycle helmet in 1967. Um, in 1968, I believe, she passed out on stage while she's performing with Marvin Gaye. Said she had a tumor. She had like 8 surgeries, unsuccessful. And in 1970, she died at the age of 24 after having a brain surgery.
24.
Right,
You say 24?
24.
Wow.
24 years old. So you
Didn't
have
live.
very famous men, and I'm quite sure you guys have seen that movie Get Up, with the late Chadwick Boseman, playing James Brown, and he beats his wife, um, in there, and he's had documented domestic violence arrests. David Ruffin of the Temptations, volatile man. Um, it's you can't get away from it. I mean, you Chad Ochocinco, he had the incident with Evelyn Lozada. You've got Charlie Sheen, he arrested. Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra arrested because they was beating up on each other. Um, who else?
Too many.
Too many, too many. There's a lot of Hollywood actors
Oh,
and
who's the,
actresses.
dang it, what's his name? Oh, I got it. The one who, it was not too long ago, he was actually like having a successful Columbus short.
Yeah,
He didn't, he literally did, I mean, it killed his whole career.
yeah.
Um, killed his whole career.
What was the name of the show? I can never remember the name of the show with Olivia Pope.
He was in How to Get Away with Murder.
No,
No,
that's
not How to Get
sad.
Away with Murder. Sorry. Wow, I can't believe I don't remember. Hold
All I
on.
remember is that they were gladiators, but I
Scandal.
never what is Scandal? Yes. He was
Scandal.
on Scandal as a part of her team, as Olivia Pope's team. And honestly, I look forward to seeing Columbus Short on the show.
Yes, I
And
did too. He was really good.
it changed once he was off the show.
Hmm.
But yeah, his whole career was derailed. And I really think, and I hate to bring this up as a racial issue, but I think his career was derailed because he was Black. Because you have other white actors who still have careers.
Really seen.
Charlie Sheen had a whole career after the domestic violence and coming out saying that he purposely infected people with AIDS. You still have a career after this?
Wasn't prosecuted, nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
They never took 2.5 Men off the air.
No, it still
They
plays.
they still show his episodes. And this man was committing a felony
Yeah.
by purposely not letting people know that he had AIDS.
Mhm. And if you're saying that, yes, he had a non-disclosure agreement for his STD, not for his
Not
AIDS.
a whole damn deadly virus.
I mean, I didn't understand why people sleep with him when he made you sign off for an NDC for STD. That's just crazy.
First of all, he's not that attractive.
Ugh. And he ain't that rich.
Not that attractive. So
You had better go on to Alec Baldwin. At least he kind of cute on an old man, kind of whitish man style.
dad bod type way. Like he used to be
Yeah,
hot back in the
he
day.
did. He did. I never thought that about Charlie.
No. Okay, well, let me say. Charlie Sheen played in a movie called Wraith, like 1982, 1983. He was hot in that movie.
Oh, right?
Yes, it's about a car and all this. Yeah. And I think the last time Charlie Sheen was even a hot factor was when he played Vaughn for on the baseball movie when he was the pitcher. His name was Vaughn. After that,
Oh yeah, he was kind of cute then too.
yeah. So that's it. But yeah, I think Columbus Short lost his career because, he was a brown guy. Not discounting the fact that he had domestic violence charges. That's not no. He deserved more than a slap on the wrist for that. But yeah, I don't, when some things come up, it kind of makes us want to talk about it like right then. And once I saw that video of Zach Stacy, I was like, we have, because this happens more often
Cringy.
than not. It's very cringy. You hear about, didn't I bring up a story of another NFL player that was implicated as a suspect in
Yep.
his girlfriend's murder?
Yep.
Kevin Ware.
Yep.
That was in a New York Post article, June of 2021.
It was
Kevin Ware, 40, former tight end. This is from the New York Post. I'm reading this. Former tight end for the San Francisco 49ers was identified as a suspect for the first time during a bond hearing in Montgomery County on charges unrelated to the disappearance of his girlfriend, Taylor Pomansky. So he was named as a suspect in her murder. Oh, we forgot to talk about the most famous one, Ray Caruth.
yeah, that's what I was looking up right now. I was like, did we talk about Ray?
If y'all don't recall, Ray Caruth had a girlfriend, and he was a come out star. Who did he play for? I think he played for the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
And he hired some men to kill his girlfriend, Cherica Adams, in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, she did pass away. Their son, however, did survive, but he did have some developmental issues. And Ray Caruth was released from prison in 2018. So he was in jail he was sentenced in 2001. He was sentenced to 18 to 24 years in prison, and he was released in 2018. He was engaged to her.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any domestic violence charges came out with the murder charge or the conspiracy charge, but I mean, hiring someone to kill your girlfriend is definitely the highest form of domestic violence. So, yeah. So we'll probably bring that up in another show. In the future, I think next week, we'll talk about this very, very, very crazy subject, and it's called incel. Basically, what this is, and we definitely have to talk about this next week, is men or women, mostly men, who have the belief that they are unattractive to the opposite sex, and they hate those who are attractive to the opposite sex. It's a crazy phenomenon.
Support of people who define themselves unable to be romantic.
So what?
Interesting.
Let me bring up.
So they don't think that no one finds them sexually attractive.
Right. So here's the definition from the Oxford. A member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active. I knew that this was a thing with certain people, but I didn't know there was a whole online community of these people.
I didn't either, because I saw a few TikTok videos of women who were like who were 35 and had never had anyone find them sexually attractive. Never, ever, ever had anyone come up to them or try to holler at them or sleep with them.
This one is like men usually who will visit violence on people because they
they do violence?
Yes, and there's a very famous case.
I guess I was reading that while you were saying it, because I was like, okay, trying to follow along, and I missed the violence part.
Yes, I'll send you the story of one of the most famous cases of violence in the incel community. So we'll talk about that one next week.
Worse than pedophiles online. They got they got a community where like you can literally talk about how you would be a pedophile, but you're not technically because you ain't acted on it.
No, you're a pedophile because you feel
you're a pedophile. You nasty.
You thank sweet baby Jesus that you didn't act on. So
They know, thank you. But
yeah.
I mean, they feel like they should be able to do that. So that is quite odd.
Mhm.
I can't wait to talk about that. That's
Yes.
interesting.
So I'll send you the story. We'll talk about that next week. But thank you guys for joining Jackie and I this week. Oh, and Cash in the background.
Yay.
Uh, thank you
Nice to meet
for
you.
joining us this week on Black Coffee and Crime. So good night, good morning, good afternoon. Be safe, be blessed, and enjoy that second cup. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.